Om Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om. We are at the concluding part of the 17th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. There are 28 verses. We will be finishing 24 verses today. Yajna Dana Tapaha, and also the introduction of a powerful mantra, Om Tat Sat. We will begin with Vidya. Vidya, please.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Mudhagrahenatmano yat pidaya kriyate tapaha parasyotsadanartham va tattamasamudaratam. This verse tells us of the tamasic worship which is done without faith, which is to harm others or gain power over others. Lord Krishna says here that just like the Rajasic person, the Tamasic person does tapas only for a means. He too does tapas, and all sorts of austerities are done without knowing the real value of tapas. He uses these austerities for inferior ends. Swami Paramarthananda gives the example of using the sandalwood as a fuel, being ignorant of its real value. Mudha grahena yat tapaha kriyate. Mudha grahena here means out of an erroneous notion. Yat tapaha kriyate, austerity, which is practiced with false notion or unhealthy resolve or inferior resolve for a revenge. In Puranas, there are umpteen examples for this tamasic austerity. Take the case of Ravana, who was a great Shiva Bhakta, but his bhakti was to win over the whole creation. The whole of Mahabharata is a series of tit for tat or settling scores. Here, we see many practice tapas to get power over of others for the sake of revenge. King Drupada of Panchala does a huge yaga to beget a child. Here Drashtadumna is born just for the sake of destroying Drona. Drashtadumna later becomes the commander-in-chief during the Kurukshetra war, and he becomes the commander-in-chief of the Pandavas, and then he slays Dronacharya. Amba practiced tapas to be reborn to take revenge on Bhishma as Shikhandi later. All these are tamasic austerities for a mean resolve. Therefore, grahaha means resolve or vow. Delusion-based false resolve is behind this tapas. Atmanaha pidaya. Here, Atmanaha is not Satchit Ananda. Here it is Shariram. Sharirasya pidaya. In the 16th verse of the 17th chapter, Atma is referred to as the mind. So according to the context, it has to be understood. So Atmanaha pidaya means invariably such tapas will involve torturing the body, which Shastra never recommends, because body is a sacred gift from the Lord for the higher goal of moksha. Parasya usadanartham means the motive behind this tapas is totally negative in the tamasic people. For they use this kind of a tapas for the destruction of other people, competitors, enemies, etc., which comes under tamasic tapas. Parasyaha here means enemy. Utsadanam means destruction. All the demonic characters in the Puranas practiced severe penance, seeking immortality. When not granted, they seek to get great powers to conquer the whole universe, including the gods' abode. So we understand that this kind of tapas is for a wrong motive. So parasya usadanartham va. Whatever tapas is done, tat tamasam udaratam. That is tamasic tapas. Thus, in Lord Krishna's view, tamasic austerity pulls a person away from God as it is a quality that encompasses all negativity, such as violence, chaos, destruction, etc. It is a purposeful ignorance, the intent to harm others, and a refusal of faith. Thus, with this verse, 3 types of tapas based on guna is over. Out of the 4 topics promised by Lord Krishna, 3 are over here in this verse, that is the topic of ahara, yajna and tapas. The next topic of dhanam comes in the next verse. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Hari Om. Thank you.
Thank you, Vidya, for a clear explanation of this verse. We now come to the topic of Dhanam, on which Swamiji has spoken so extensively about. Karthik, could you please explain this verse?
Yeah, doctor. Thanks. See, in Tapaha, if it can be summarized, it says one message: frugality strengthens the mind. So, likewise, in this section, there is if we say we learn how to give. So, and one thing is looked down upon is a selfish reason. I mean, as they say, if you give for, if you do good for a selfish reason, then there's nothing good, but you get good at being selfish. So that is not actually what is doing for others. That is, charity is also others. I mean, it is not just giving money, it is also doing things for others, giving them time, giving them whatever they need, and in excess of what you have to start with. So let us go to the shloka. Datavyam iti yaddanam diyate anupakarane deshe kale cha patre cha taddanam satvikam smritam. See, that charity which is given with an attitude that giving is a duty to a person who may not reciprocate, given at the proper place, given at the proper time, and to a proper person, is considered to be a sattvic charity. In this shloka, we are talking about only sattvic charity. So now, dana is considered to be sattvic if there are some conditions so to be met. It is given voluntarily with the understanding of the importance of giving dhanam. Now let us go to the introduction of what exactly is this dhanam, how to give, and what is the differentiators of good dhanam. So now dhanam, so dana, let us first understand dana and its benefits. So there is a 4-point prelude to this sattvika definition of dana. So the first thing is it removes the negative traits, all the vasanas that we have acquired. So why does that happen? How does this negative trait come in the first place? There is only one reason. In Vedanta, there is only one reason for everything, that is ajnana. So we do not identify with the Atma, we identify with the Jiva, and we suffer from everything that a Jiva suffers. And along with it, with respect to this shloka, we also suffer from something called insecurity. Insecurity is, it covers so many things, not just money, not just things, again, relationships, health, anything. So what we do is we feel insecure because of ajnana. Now ajnana leads to something called moha. Now moha is, I mean, like a child clings to the mother from the beginning. I mean, ajnana is inborn. So this moha is a direct consequence of ajnana. So this is the greatest delusion. So we do not need security. Anything, I mean, Atma is our own security. And we look at objects, we look at wealth, we look at relationships. So this is the greatest delusion. We started from the first chapter and here too. So consider this the greatest delusion, because no object in the external world is itself secure. How can an insecure thing give security? So ajnana leads to moha. Now from moha, what happens to bolster this feeling of insecurity and to fight against that feeling of insecurity, we go about acquiring things, acquiring wealth, acquiring everything. So that leads to something called a lobha. Now, we have a lot of things. We do not want to part with these things, relationships, anything. So that is also called karpanyam. So a kind of miserliness is what Swamiji calls that. And along with it, there is this bhayam that comes through. Now, this bhayam is not to be confused with the bhayam we spoke about earlier. See, the 16th, the 17th chapters talk about bhayam in a different way. So this is not that, dvitiyadvai bhayam bhavati, not bhaya. This bhaya is normal fear for a sadhaka who's into practicing dharma. He gains what do you call Shat Sampati, and then on the path to moksha. So bhaya is the next trait that the Ajnani faces. Then another, to get rid of all of these, dhanam is a powerful spiritual discipline. Then another thing is, region is, there is harmony with nature. I mean, nature, if you can personify this weather systems, the nitrogen cycle and everything, it looks like apparently there is some kind of a give and take. So being a sadhaka, we identify, we personify those elements and say, yes, we are also part with nature. Then, of course, there is the social benefit, the rich-poor divide lessons. And the fourth one is, it prepares us for sannyasa. Then, so the next part. So this is the dana. Now, how it is given? It is given even to a person who may not reciprocate. The word is anupakarane. Anupakarine. Now, the person might give it back or might not give it back. That is not the intention of the person that is doing this dana. So it is to be done with, yes, it is given, and yes, it is given for my benefit. The giving is for my benefit in the very act of giving, not what it gives us back. So that is one dana. That is again a sattvika jnana, and it is to be given at deshecha kalecha. It is to be given at the right place and the right time. Right place and the right time. Shankaracharya says the right place is a place like Kurukshetra. So it is basically a sacred place. So it's just to be given at the right place. So what we can do is we can make it clean and some kind of ceremony and then give it. Then the right time. Right time is again, now the Paksha Masa, the Adhika Masa that comes right after tomorrow, after the Amavasya, all these are considered to be very sacred. And there is a wonderful video of Adhika Masa you should watch on YouTube. So that is there. So this is the right time too. And the right person. The right person is actually, the word that is used in the shloka is patra. Now, patra is basically a vessel. So a person, in Vedanta, there are so many comparisons between what do you call it? A proper person and a patra. So it is a vessel. There is no holding a vessel without a bottom. So it just goes in and comes out as in nature. So this is the proper person. And we have, Swamiji says we have our right to inquire. If we are not convinced of a person's credentials, there is nothing wrong in not giving dana. And that is why he also adds that it is advisable to give it to institutions to, not really get into this judging people whether they are good or bad or something, and let them do this charity work. And if, again, he signs off with, if you do not have money, if you cannot give money, that is no matter. You can give time, knowledge, or even a smile. That is good enough. This is Sattvika Dana. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Karthik, for covering all aspects of Sattvika Dhanam. And Dhanam, as Swamiji has given so many aspects about it as a great purifier. And you brought out very nicely about the basic problem being Ajnanam. Dr. Srinivas, please. Next verse.
Yes, sir. Hari Om, sir.
Hari Om.
Yattu pratyupakarartham phalamuddishya va punaha diyate cha pariklistam tadhanam rajasamsprutam. So the first word is yattu. This can be split into yat plus tu. So the first word is yat plus tu. Please look into the second line. fourth word, that is taddanam. That word can be split into tat plus danam. So here we have yat and tat. So whatever is given, that one. So that is the anvayam here. So the anvayam goes to yat diyate tad danam. So diyate is the first word in the second line. So yat diyate. So yat is whatever. Yat yaha ya yat yaha is pumlinga, ya is strilinga, yat is napumsakalinga. So danam is a napumsakalinga word. So he is using it as yat. Next word is in this tu. So this word we often keep getting this word, this letter tu. Tu means on the other hand. So whenever the poets are describing two different things, like the previous shloka, they have described the Satvika Danam, and in this shloka, they are describing the Rajasika Danam. So that's how it is on the other hand. So tu meaning is on the other hand. So pratyupakaratham. See, means the meaning is very clear. The meaning, the word will be same in Telugu and Kannada and Sanskrit also. Prati upakarartham. That means expecting that the other person will help us in return. So that was about this word. Phalam uddishya. So this word, phalam plus uddishya. This phalam, this should be pronounced as pa, big pa, not phalam. There is no letter like fa in Sanskrit. Usually we tend to read it as phalam uddishya. So I hope my pronunciation is clear, sir. It should be pronounced as phalam uddishya. So phalam plus uddishya, that is expecting results. Va punaha, in return. Punaha means in return. Diyate, this is which is given. Cha means and. Pariklistam, pariklistam means dukkha sahitam, with difficulty. Taddanam, tat plus danam, taddanam. Rajasam, rajasik, smrutam, it is said to be. So this is the each word meaning. So the meaning actually is very not much of complicated verse. It's very clear. Yat danam diyate, tat danam rajasikam smrutam. And there are three adjectives for that. This kind of danam, there are three definitions which is given. Pratyupakarartham, phalamuddishya, pariklistam. So if you are expecting that the other person should help you back again, or you are expecting results because of that in this life, now or in future, or in next life, or in the other world. So if you are expecting that we will get something in return, we will get Swarga Sukham, or we will get something else in the other world. We are expecting this. And with the difficulty, if you, this is the pariklistam means with the difficulty, with sadness, with a feeling that we are going to lose something. So these are the three definitions which poet has given us, and which they is telling it as Rajas Danam. So a little bit of Danam is a very important term in our culture and tradition, and in our religion also. So first question is, why should we give Danam? Because we should give Danam because we are today what we are because of, not because of our own efforts. We are what we are today because of our parents, our teachers, our friends, relatives, our neighbors, and known and unknown persons, and animals. What food we are eating is that comes from, food, milk and curds and ghee and all these things, they come from animals. Previously, the cows were the cows, and that was the main animal which helps the household, and the bulls used to help in the fields. The horses used to help in transportation. Of course, now the animal support has reduced, but still the animals do have a role in what we are today. So it is our responsibility to do Danam. Next, how should we do Danam? Danam should be done as it is been explained here. Datavyam iti means, Datavyam means it should be given. Datavyam iti, it's our duty, without ahankaram, without advertisement. And we should not keep on remembering about that Danam that I have done. Like, this is the way we should do Danam. And if we give Danam and expecting in returns, it is not Danam, but it is business. So what is the nature of our mind when we do Danam? Actually, the difference between Satvika Danam and Rajasika Danam, nobody else will know it. Only our own selves we will know whether we are giving it with a Satvik mind or with a Rajasic mind. So it is not, and at the outset, it's not apparent. So it's with our own mind, we need to, what is the frame of mind which we are giving dhanam. So that's what make it, either it is rajasic or sattvic. And then whom to give dhanam. So as earlier, as again mentioned here, so we should give dhanam to Satpurusha, Sadhu, and Taponista. So what happens if you give dhanam to eligible persons and ineligible persons? If you give dhanam to ineligible persons, and if they misuse that dhanam, and we will get a part of the papam because of that. And what happens if we give dhanam to eligible persons? So Taponista, Satpurusha, Sadhus, if we give dhanam to such kind of people, and whatever punya they do it, we also get a part of it. But how can we know? So many people come and asking us, how can we keep count of all these people? Yes, it is our duty to keep a count and whom we are giving. We have to take care of that. There is no other way about this. And the next is, what are the examples of dhanam in our Puranas and history? So we have Mahabali, we have Shibi Chakravarti, and we have Dadichi Maharshi. So they have done extreme sacrifice. Mahabali was asked by Vamana, there is Vishnu Avatara, to give three steps of land. Mahabali and his Guru Sukracharya knew that Sri Mahavishnu is going to come and ask dhanam. But Mahabali refused to accept his Guru's advice, and he has sacrificed himself, and he donated whatever Vamana has asked. So in return, because Mahabali has not done, actually he did not do any mistake or error like other asuras. He was only doing 100 Rajasuya Yajnas. So in return, Vamana went to Patala along with Mahabali, and he stood as a gatekeeper. Sri Mahavishnu stood as a gatekeeper to Mahabali. And again, Lakshmi Devi had to come and tie a Rakhi to Mahabali and then take her husband. That's how the tradition of Rakhi had started. This is what our Puranas say. We also have example of Shibi Chakravarti, who gave a part of his body so that the bird could be rescued. We also have the example of Dadichi Maharshi, who gave his vertebral column for Indra to make his Vajrayudham. All these people have given dhanam with a sattvika mind. They did not expect anything in return. But comparing that to Karna, we generally, if we see movies and serials or some ordinary books, we think that Karna is a great dana. He gave dana and he gave his Kavacha Kundalas. But actually, if you do some in-depth studies, all the scholars, what they say is the Karna took the Shakti from Indra, and that is not a Sattvika Danam, but that is a Rajasika Danam. He even kept a condition, actually. That's what in those who did the in-depth studies, they say that Karna had asked for Shakti weapon from Indra, and then only he donated his Kavacha Kundalam as advised by his father Surya. So these are the examples of Sattvika and Rajasika Danam. And what is the Indian tradition of giving Danam? So in India, the person who gives Danam, he does Namaskaram to the person who receives it. Unlike the Danam in the Western tradition, where the person who takes Danam will tell, thank you, you have helped me, and he will be thankful to the person who gives. Whereas here, it is the other way around. The person who gives Danam feels that he is lucky to get a good person who is eligible to give Danam, so that his mind turns inwards. And another issue is we keep getting people like beggars who keep asking us on the way, or some people used to come to home. So what we do is we look at your pockets. If you have some change like 5 rupees, 10 rupees, we give to them. If you don't have change, we don't give to them. And similarly at house also, if some beggars come, if we have some leftover food, then only we give, and if we don't have it, we don't give. This is not at all Danam. This kind of giving does not come under the entity of Danam. And what happens if we do this kind of Sattvika Danam, as earlier explained, our mind turns inwards and we will start looking towards Bhagavan. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Srinivas, for a detailed explanation on Dhanam, and as usual, your explanation on the words and the Sanskrit learning that we have from that. Indu, please.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Adesha Kale Yadhanam Apatrebhyascha Diyate Asatkritam Avagnatam Tat Tamasam Udahritam. Adesha Kale. Adeshe Apunye Deshe. At the wrong place. That is Mlecha Ashuddhi Sankirne. Yaddanam Diyate Adesha Kale. Charity given at the wrong place. Akale Punya Hetutvena Aprakhyate Sankrantyadi Vishesharahite. At the time, it is wrong time, not any auspicious time. Apatrebhyascha Murkha Taskaradibhyaha. Unworthy people, non-deserving people. Deshadi Sampattova. Assuming it is the right time. Yet diyate, that which is given, asatkritam, without respecting and honoring, avagnatam, with contempt and insult. Tat danam, that charity is said to be tamasa mudahritam. It is of tamasic nature. Satvika danam is almost the opposite of tamasika danam, where we saw earlier that charity given as our duty in a proper place at the proper time to a worthy, deserving person from whom we expect nothing in return is said to be sattvic. But here in this verse, we see that the charity given at the wrong place and wrong time to unworthy persons without respect or with insult is said to be tamasic danam. That is, charities of the tamasic people. Charity must come from within as an expression of an uncontrollable urge, strong urge of one's own heart. Intelligent charity must spring from the abundance felt within the individual. He who feels impoverished by his giving has not done a charity by mere physical act of giving away. It is said that charity must be given just as a tree gives its fruits. Fruits are available to all who come under its shade. It does not make any discrimination between one enjoyer and the other. So too, man should share his possessions freely. If we disrespect the recipient of our charity, we are harming ourselves and recipient instead of performing an auspicious act. Therefore, it is said that Sattva Danam is the end, Rajasika Danam is a means, that is Sakama Danam, Sattvika Danam is a Nishkama Danam. Now, what is Tamasika Danam then? It is Adesha Kale Apatrebhyascha Diyate, and also charity done with Asatkritam and Avagnatam. Paramapuja Swamiji Paramarthanandaji says, if we do not give anything to this World Bank in this Janma, we will not be getting anything in the next Janma. Adana doshena bhavet daridraha and daridra doshena karoti papam. When there is poverty, the tendency to violate dharma is more. It requires tremendous self-restraint to avoid corruption in poverty. Therefore, the chances of the daridras doing papam is more. Daridra doshena karoti papam, papat avashyam narakam prayati. Papa leads to narakam and again he becomes a daridra. Punar daridraha, punareva papi. This becomes a cycle. If you want to come out of this cycle, you start giving danam, that is charity, at least a little. Therefore, phalamuddishava, at least for the sake of punyam and better birth in the next janma, charity which is given at the wrong place and wrong time to unworthy people without honoring and respecting and given with contempt is said to be tamasika danam. It should be given with avagna, without insulting and without disrespecting. Receiver always feels inferior, and one should not add salt to the injury. One should make the receiver comfortable, and when the receiver is insulted, it is tat tamasa mudahrutam. Such a danam is tamasika danam. What the Lord wants to say is Sattvika Danam is the best, Rajasic Danam is intermediary, and the Tamasika Danam is the lowest one. People who are at the Tamasadana level have to gradually improve themselves to Rajasadanam, and from that level to the Sattvic level. Harihi Om. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Indumati, for a very nice explanation. With that, we come to the famous mantra Om Tat Sat. Dr. Madhuri Anand, please.
Yeah. Namaste, everyone. Om Tat Saditi Nirdesho Brahmanastri Smrataha Brahmanastena Vedascha Yajnasha Vihitaha Pura. Lord Krishna talks about the meaning and importance of Om Tat Sat from verse 23 to 28 of the 17th chapter in Bhagavad Gita. This mantra is associated with all religious activities. Lord Krishna said, Om Tat Sat is actually a threefold name or triple designation of Brahman, used from the beginning of creation to indicate the supreme absolute truth. By uttering this, the Brahmins, the Vedas, and the Yajnas were created. These three symbolic representations were used by the Brahmanas while chanting the hymns of the Vedas and during the rituals and sacrifices for the satisfaction of the Supreme. Dealing with the significance of this mantra, Om Tat Sat, Krishna highlights certain important points in these verses. First one, Brahma, that is God, is indicated by Om Tat Sat, the three names of God. Hence, it is a powerful mantra. Om is the first thing created, which is the invisible vibrating power by the cosmic consciousness. Om is also the subtle symbol of God, which is indicated by the sound symbol. Om also means the protector of the world. Rakshana Karata, Palana Karata, the protector of everything, especially the devotee. Tat is the supreme state of enlightenment. Tat is that Lord who is beyond all the instruments of knowledge and one who is incomprehensible. Sat means the absolute truth, reality, the eternal principle, that which forever exists in the form of the very existence itself. So, Om Tat Saditi Nirdesha is a designation of Brahman. Brahmana Stri Vidaha Smrutaha. It is the three kinds of designations: explanation and indication, words standing for it. So, Om Tat Sat, all these words are standing for Brahman, the Supreme Lord. Second point, this powerful mantra has been used by the creator Brahmaji himself to create this wonderful, beautiful universe. Third point, because Brahmaji uttered this powerful mantra, it has become convenient and is practiced among all the spiritual seekers to chant it during the spiritual sadhana. Example, Om Tat Sat Brahmanarpanastu and Om Tat Sat Krishnarpanamastu. So, fourth point, by uttering Om Tat Sat, one can convert all the Rajasic and Tamasic activities into Sattvic and spiritual karmas which benefits all the spiritual seekers. Fifth point, with the help of this mantra, Brahmaji has created a very beautiful, orderly, glorious universe. Among all these wonderful creations of Brahmaji, there are three very significant creations, namely Brahmana, Yajna, and Veda. Yajna means that lifestyle which the humanity widely uses, the superior knowledge and power for constructive purposes, and ensures the peace, prosperity, and all-round progress of life, which includes the Panchamaha Yajnas, which is the wise way of living. So, Yajna alone can sustain the creation, hence very important. Vedas become important to understand what wisdom is. It is from the Vedas we learn the harmonious way or yajna way of life. So Veda promotes yajna, which sustains the creation. The third creation, which is very significant and important, is Brahmana, the human being. Any human being, irrespective of his or her caste, creed, gender, or profession, who preserves or promotes the Vedic teachings. He who learns, practices, teaches, protects, and shares the Vedic wisdom is called Brahmana. Thus, the Brahmana sustains Vedas, Vedas sustain the Yajna way of life, and Yajna sustains the creation. So, Brahmaji created Brahmana, Vedas, and Yajnas by chanting this powerful sacred Maha Mantra, Om Tat Sat. Thank you, sir. Hari Om.
Thank you, Madhuri, for a complete explanation of that mantra, Om Tat Sat. We come to the last verse for today, Lakshmi. Lakshmi, please.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. 17th chapter, 24th verse. Tasmado mityudahritya yagnadana tapah kriyaha pravartante vidanoktaha satatam brahmavadinam. Meaning, therefore, for those who are well versed in the Vedas, the activities in the form of yajnas, charities, and austerities, which are mentioned by the scriptural injunctions, take place after the utterance of Om. Tasmad means therefore. Therefore, since Brahmaji has chanted this name, therefore others also follows this mantra. Since invoking the blessings of the Lord is very important, therefore one must chant the name Om. Om iti udahritya. Either we can chant Om Tat Sat or just Om. All means the same Bhagavan. The point is we must remember the Lord and invoke His grace. Brahmaji, while creating the universe, he sought the blessings from the Lord. The name he used is Om Tat Sat. By invoking the grace of the Lord, Brahmaji was successful in creating this universe, and in the same way, we the children of Brahmaji follow the same footsteps. Though we have done Yagnadana Tapaha, there will be some imperfection or some drawbacks. So while chanting this name of the Lord, we see His blessings, seek His forgiveness for whatever omissions and commissions we have done. Make our sattvic karma into more sattvic, and more the rajasic and tamasic karmas into sattvic karma. Brahmavadinam. These are the people who dedicate their life based on the teachings of Brahma, that is, based on the teachings of Vedas. They are spiritual seekers. They do all the activities which will contribute to the spiritual growth, like Yajna, Dana, Tapaha, Kriyaha, all the Yajnas like Panchamaha Yajna, etc., all the types of Danam which we have learned in the earlier verses, and all types of Tapas like Kayaka, Vachaka, Manasa, Tapas. All of them the spiritual seekers perform by chanting Om Tat Sat or merely Om. Thus, by seeking His grace, they do all the activities. to cherish in our minds the divine awareness and the absolute supremacy of the infinite as expressed in Om is to add purpose and the meaning to all our acts of sacrifice, charity, and austerity. To invoke in our minds the divine concept of the absolute is to free our personality from its limited field of egocentric attachments. When the mind is thus liberated, become more efficient in all austerities, more selfless in all yajnas, and more liberal in all the charities. Harivu. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Lakshmi, for a nice presentation. With that, we come to the end of today's class. For those of you who are ready for a Gita quiz, you can unmute and be ready. The pattern will be the same like we did last time. It will be like this. The first is only academic to let us know which chapter and if you remember the verse number. Not so important. But then if someone can tell me the meaning of that verse, and then we go a little more in details to get the word meaning. Ready. Okay. The first is this Vyavasayatmika Buddhi Reke Kurunandana Bahushaka Anantascha Bahudaya. Yes, please. Where is
Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga.
Wrong.
Second chapter 41. Second
Karma,
chapter 41.
Karma Yoga. Third chapter. Karma Yoga.
Okay. This is
Second
second
chapter
chapter.
41.
Second chapter 241.
Absolutely
41.
right. Okay. Can you tell me the meaning of this Vyavasayatmika?
We have to, it's like agriculture, how we sow the seed and to get the reap. In the same way, we have to train our intellect.
Yes.
Bahushaka.
Correct. Correct. Now, why is this verse given? For what reason?
This is.
See, what is Bahushaka Anantascha? You tell me, what is Bahushaka and Anantascha?
Bahushaka. That is. No, that is. We are divided in various. In life, we are divided into many. Our mind is diverted in many ways. So we have.
Wrong.
Sorry.
Wrong. Anybody else?
Multiple thoughts. People with desire. Sakama people will have different thoughts. That is why he says.
Wrong.
It wanders in all directions.
Wrong. What is Bahushaka Anantascha?
Mind wavers.
Many
Wavering mind.
Is moving in different directions.
Wavering mind.
Ignorant person.
Sri Krishna is trying to say
Scriptures,
that
it is confusion, need for Guru.
It is, we need a Guru.
Sadhanas.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Whoever, I think Sundar. See, our scriptures will say that there are so many types of scriptures talking about so many types of sadhanas. So when a person enters into the spiritual world, now different speakers will say this is good, that is good, meditation is good, or you can do Kundalini Shastra is good. And then you get absolutely frustrated, and Swamiji says you can become an atheist also. That is why a guru gives you Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. First you do Karma Yoga, purify your mind, you do Upasana Yoga, make single pointed mind, get Jnana Yogyata, then go to Shravanam, Mananam. So that is it. So Vyavasayatmika, just like in the agricultural, you need to do a lot of planning when the rains will come, what is the type of soil, what I'm going to do. So this requires a lot of planning. So let's go by word by word. Who is Kurunandana?
Arjuna.
Absolutely right, Arjuna. Eka.
Single pointedness.
Absolutely one pointed. Single. There is only one. That means you should have one clear path that this is it. So once your mind is very clear, then somebody will come tomorrow, we will do some other sadhana, something else. You will say no, because you know what you want and how you will do what, when. This is Vyavasayatmika Buddhi we discovered. Have a clear understanding. Buddhayaha.
Various minds, various...
the different notions. You're right.
Notions.
Yes, Prasad. Avasayinam.
Avyavasayinam.
Avyavasayinam.
Unending or avinashi.
Yeah, just the opposite of Yavasaya. One who's not very clear. Bahushaka.
Different versions or different.
Many branches.
Different versions.
Yeah. Bahushaka anantascha, many branched. So with
Many
that we have completed. I will read this because this is a little important. Our scriptures are complex compared to those of other religions. They prescribe many different sadhanas that may be confusing. A karma yogi should have a clear understanding of the sadhanas that he has to practice and what is their goal. That clarity regarding the means and the end is called sadhana chatuschaya vishaya nischaya jnana. There are intermediary goals and the ultimate. Just like when you are in a train journey, there are intermediate stations, but you also know what is the ultimate goal that you have. A spiritual itinerary is as follows. Do karma yoga, upasana yoga, get jnana yogyata, proceed to jnana yoga, get jnanam, get moksha. And this clarity is what is called vyavasayatmika. We go to the next question. Keep your things open. Rasoham apsu kaunteya prabha asmi shashi suryayo pranava sarva vedeshu shabdake paurusham.
Vibhuti Yoga, sir, 10th chapter.
Wrong.
Wrong.
7th chapter, sir. 7th chapter.
You're right.
Yeah, 7th chapter.
Okay, now I will ask you some specific questions. Aham rasaha.
I am the taste.
That's right. Now this is again a sadhana that I've said. Whenever you drink water, whenever you experience the taste, remember Shri Krishna. Apsu.
Water.
Of the water.
Taste the water. Taste
Aham
the water.
asmi prabha.
Light.
I am the light.
I
I am the light.
Brilliance.
I am the brilliance.
Light is prakasha. Here it is radiance or brilliance.
Brilliance.
Shashi suryayo.
Sun and
Like the moon and sun. I am the sun and the moon.
That is it about this verse. But every time you drink water, Shri Krishna says, "Can you remember me?" So that is a beautiful verse. Now I will read a certain message here. Something. What is the meaning of the word pranava?
Beginning.
Best name.
Om.
Correct. I could hear Om.
The
but I
ideal
could-
name.
Beginning.
Pranava.
Brahma Suchaka.
Okay.
Ideal name.
Yeah, Navaha means name. Pranava means ideal name for God because it includes Saguna and Nirguna. Sarva Vedeshu.
in all
All
scriptures.
the Vedas.
All scriptures.
All the Vedas.
All Vedas.
Correct.
In
All the Vedas.
Shabda Ke.
Sound and akasha.
Akasha.
Sound
I'm
and
the
Paurusham Drishu.
Purusham Drushu.
Paurusha. In the kings and the Paurusha.
The free will.
And the
free will of
Humanness in
man.
man.
I'm the knower.
Now
The free
it is-
will of mankind.
Correct. Normally it is interpreted as manliness in men, but Drishu here means mankind. And Adi Shankara, as Dr. Anupama said, Adi Shankara in his commentary said, what is the greatness of mankind? Is your free will. If you don't use your free will, you don't deserve to be a human being. So here, Paurusham Drishu means free will. That is the Adi Shankara's interpretation. Now, I will read this.
Shall I read it, sir, for you?
Please read.
Krishna establishes that he is the essence of creation in verses 8 through 12. The process of divinization of the world is a twofold endeavor. Understanding the teaching and developing reverence. The attitude of reverence comes out of knowledge. When you meet a great person for the first time, the attitude is neutral because you do not know anything about him. When you get to know his greatness, you develop the attitude of reverence. Similarly, as the understanding of the world as Ishvara evolves, one develops the reverence for the world. When one sees the world as world, he develops Raga Dvesha. When he begins to see the world as Vishwarupa Ishvara, he develops reverence. In this verse, Krishna declares that he is the primary quality in the following: taste in water, radiance in the moon and the sun, Pranava, Omkara, the essence of the Vedas, sound in space, and the humanness in the human being.
Thank you. Thank you, Venkatesh. We go to the next verse. This is like this. Venkatesh, can you read this for me?
दूरेण ह्यवरं
कर्म
कर्म
बुद्धियोगात्
धनञ्जय बुद्धौ शरणमामिच्छ कृपणाः फलहेतवः.
Which chapter?
Karma Yoga. Three.
Wrong.
Second
Karma
chapter.
Yoga.
Second chapter is right. Approximately where does it come?
40s.
Yeah, it is 1 or 2 verses after Karmanyevadikarasya. That is what verse 47. This will come as verse 49. Now I will go for word meaning and let me see what anybody wants to say. Durena avaram.
It is covered by distance.
Far worse.
Yeah.
Covered by distance or smoke.
Far worse is karma than karma yoga, I suppose.
Tell me, Sundar.
Far worse is
Correct.
karma
It
than
is
karma.
far worse. See, in this verse, we are saying that there is a difference between a karmi and a karma yogi. A karmi is looking for results, and he says it's far inferior. Durena means far. It is far inferior. So we are comparing a karmi to a karma yogi. This is easy. Buddhi yogat.
Jnana yoga.
Yoga.
No.
Knowledge.
No.
Karma yoga.
That's right. Buddhi yoga.
Right attitude.
Karma
Right
yoga. Karma. Buddhi. That means with proper attitude, if you do karma, that becomes karma yoga. Okay. What is this? Sharanam
Anvicha.
Sharanam Anvicha.
Take refuge in karma yoga.
That's right. Those who take refuge in karma yoga. Okay. Pala hetavaha.
Expects fruits.
Motive of result.
Correct. One whose motive is the result.
Pala hetavaha.
Yeah, that is it. Kripanaha.
Miserly.
Yeah. Unfortunate ones.
Unfortunate.
So, can you read this for me?
Yes, sir. Equanimity or samatvam. Krishna implies in this verse that karmi or unfortunate people who in their material pursuit suffer in both extreme cases of success and failure. A karma yogi who places the priority on the value of experience instead of a specific result from an action is balanced in both and success and failure. As a result, he achieves samatvam. Krishna urges Arjuna to seek refuge in this wisdom of a karma yogi.
Good. Are we ready for the next one? I think the next one should be easy. Let us see. Nahi jnanena sadrisham pavitram iham vidyate
tatsvayam
yoga samsiddham kalena atmani vindati. Chapter?
Second only, I think.
Wrong. Wrong.
Jnana Yoga 4.
Correct. It is the 4th.
Jnana Yoga 4.
Okay, what is the message? What is this trying to say?
Jnana is ultimate. Knowledge is ultimate. Pavitram.
No. One who a Gnani attains yoga siddhi.
See, what is the meaning of sadrisham?
In comparison.
Equipoised.
Yeah.
Sadrisham is comparison. Example.
Yeah. Comparable to.
Comparable.
Okay. Pavitram iha vidyate.
It is said that holy. Pavitram means.
So there is no greater purifier than jnanam. Therefore, what happens? Tatsvayam yogam yoga siddham
samsiddhi
yoga samsiddhi kalena atmana.
Kalena means time. Atmani self.
In due course.
There is no greater.
In due course.
Sundar?
Very soon for a sadhaka, it will be attained.
A person will be able to attain. Let us go by word. Vidyati na pavitram.
It's ultimate. Ultimate. Nothing greater than this.
Correct. There is no greater purifier. There is no other. There is no other purifier. Sadrisham jnanena.
Equal to knowledge.
There is nothing
like knowledge. Very good. Yoga samsiddhaha.
For a yogi or one who has attained the siddhi through yoga,
That's true.
Yes.
That's true. Prepared through yoga. That's right. Vindati.
Knows.
Attains.
Correct. Attains. All right. Now, please read, Venkatesh.
Before sowing the seeds, the land has to be prepared. Therefore, one's mind has been prepared for knowledge, samsiddhaha. The mind is prepared through yoga, karma yoga, ashtanga yoga, upasana yoga, etc. In short, religious life has been prescribed by the Vedas for spiritual growth. The person who is perfected in yoga is the possessor of 4 qualifications required for acquiring jnana, namely discrimination, dispassion, discipline, and desire for freedom. Sadhana chatushtaya sampannaha. Krishna does not specify how long it will take, just says in good time. One should just enjoy the journey and not worry about how far to go.
Good. Ready for the next one?
Yes, sir.
Shraddha vam labate jnanam tatpara samyattendriya jnanam labdva param.
Fourth chapter. Fourth chapter.
This is Jnana Yoga, fourth.
Yeah. Fourth chapter. Okay.
chapter.
Vidya, what are we saying here?
Once he attains Jnana,
Shraddha will attain jnanam.
Okay.
he goes beyond.
The person with indriya control.
Correct.
He
Okay.
attains. He attains.
Param Shanti Achirena Adhigachyati.
Yeah,
He will
what is-
attain jnanam.
He attains Jivan Mukti.
Within short time, within very short. Achirena. Achirena is
Okay, we'll go by the words. Shraddhavan.
one who is having pride.
Having Shraddha.
Correct. The one who's endowed with Shraddha. One who has faith. Tatparaha.
Anchored in that. He is into that. Always into that.
Yeah. Tat means?
That one. Tatparaha.
That is sadhaka. Sadhaka.
Okay, give me the meaning of this word. Samyatendriya.
One over all the Indriyas.
Dhamma.
One who has one over all the Indriyas.
Who has controlled the Indriyas.
Yeah. And what does the yataha mean?
Yata means the one who is trying.
A person who has attained.
One who puts efforts in the right
Yata
direction.
means efforts.
Yeah. Yataha. Sense organs controlled. Labate jnanam.
Attain jnanam.
Attain.
Having attained.
Achirena adhigachyati.
Without much time, they will reach or attain.
Yeah, will attain over a period of time. That means he does not specify exactly in due course. It is like in due course. Will soon attain. So we go to the next one. Venkatesh, please read.
Yes, sir. In this verse, it is stressed that faith in the validity of our scriptures is important until we clearly understand them. If there is something in the scriptures that is not very clear, one should just keep them aside and keep studying. The person who has faith, Shraddha, will eventually acquire knowledge. One must put his own effort to internalize what he heard from the teacher and find answers to questions, mananam after shravanam. After gaining this knowledge, one will attain permanent peace of mind. Krishna promises benefit here and now and not posthumously. It is important to also note that Krishna does not specify how long. It takes a long time to change habits.
Thank you. We go for the next question. There is one more question. What is this? Okay, this one, I won't read it for a particular reason because it's very easy.
Akshara Parabrahma.
Akshara Parabrahma, wrong. Wrong.
7th chapter, last verse.
Sundar, you should keep quiet. All right. This is the last verse of the 7th chapter. Okay, somebody can tell me what is this. Okay, I'll go to the words and then we'll come to it. Te yukta chetasaha.
One who is,
That person who's anchored.
Correct. Whose mind is anchored. All right. Next is ye viduhu.
These wise people. Wise people.
He knows.
Okay. Sa adi bhutam adi daivam.
He is Adi Bhuta and Adi Daiva.
What is adi bhuta?
Adi Bhuta is known problems. Adi Bhuta.
What is
Elements.
adi bhuta? Huh?
Elements, 5 elements, and Adidaiva is the knower of the self.
Wrong.
Adibhuta is Ishvara. Ishvara.
Wrong.
Anatma.
Adi Bhuta. Adi
Maya.
Bhuta. It is answered in the 8th chapter. Krishna. See, these becomes a questions for Arjuna. It is answered in the 8th
Adi
chapter. What
Bhuta is Hiranyagarbha.
Hiranyagarbha.
Adi Daiva. What is Adi Bhuta?
Is
Adibhuta
the
is Ishvara.
Samashti Karma.
Perishable
Samashti-
creation.
Hiranyagarbha.
No, whatever.
Virat.
Perishable creation, sir.
That's right. Whatever is the perishable creation around me
Virat
is
Purusha.
Adi Bhuta. Now answer, what is Adi Daiva?
Adi Daiva is the cosmic
Adibhuta is Parabrahma.
Himself.
Hiranyagarbha.
Brahma.
It is
Hiranyagarbha.
Hiranyagarbha.
Yeah.
Adi Daiva is Hiranyagarbha. Sa,
Adi Bhuta, Adi Devam.
Along with Adibhuta.
what is
Adi
this?
Daiva.
It is over. No, same thing. Adi Bhuta, Adi Daiva. That is, what is this? Sa Adi Yajna.
That Brahma is
Adi
Adi.
Yajna. Adi Yajna is the one who computes our karma and papa.
Who's that?
Ourselves, our conscious selves.
Yeah, it is Ishvara. It is
Ishvara or Prajna.
Yeah. Sa Adi Yajna is the Ishvara. And where is he located?
In ourselves.
In the heart.
That's right. All right. Sa Adi. So now what is Krishna trying to say in this verse? See, Krishna is playing a trick at the end of the 7th chapter.
He's creating questions for the next chapter.
That's right. He's creating questions for the next chapter. But now I will come to this question a little later for a very selfish reason. All right. I have a selfish reason. I'll come to that a little later. Now, can you Maya Sakta Manaha Partha Yogam
Yunjan Padashrayaha.
Asamshaya.
7th chapter, first verse. First verse.
Yeah. Where does this come, Sukanya?
Yeah, 7th chapter, sir. Gnana Vijnana Yoga, first.
Correct. See, this the last verse and the first verse, both are of the 7th chapter. And we'll go to the meaning and then we will discuss. Then I will tell you why I did not say it there. Madashraya.
You take refuge in me.
Very good. For those who take refuge in me. Yunjana Yogam.
One who is anchored in yoga.
Okay, what does it mean?
Karma Yoga.
Yeah, one who puts efforts. Now, to understand God, two things are required. It's like a train with two engines. One is I have to make my effort. I have to attend the classes. I have to prepare for the classes. So you can understand God if you have two engines. One is my prayatna. Second is madashrayaha. Then asakta manaha.
Asakta manaha. One who is not attached or interested in worldly affairs.
Correct. One
Vairagya.
Yeah, not vairagya.
But disinterested in worldly affairs.
Yeah, one whose mind is fully absorbed. Yatha jnasi.
The way it is understood. Yatha jnasyasi.
You will come to know. Some gram.
Entire thing.
Entirely. Krishnam. It is like Krishnam.
Krishnam.
Asamshayam.
Without
any doubt.
Okay, what is Krishna trying to say now?
He's promising.
You have Shraddha and work hard.
See, for those who surrender to me, those who put efforts to me, those who keep their mind absorbed in me, they will come to know my true nature completely. Tat Shrunu. That's what he's saying. This is the beginning of the 7th chapter. He says, if you want to know my nature, I will reveal to you my true nature. So listen to you. So at the end of the chapter, he's saying, you know, those who know Adi Daiva, Adi Yajna, Adi Bhuta, those who know Karma, you know, so it is my, okay, again, I have to keep my answers for a particular reason.
Yes, sir.
Please read this for me.
Krishna tells Arjuna that the latter will receive the complete knowledge of his nature free of doubts. In this context, knowing me, Krishna means knowing God. It is Ishvara Gnana. Krishna will teach in the later verses that his nature is twofold, one with a specific form, Saguna Swarupa, and the other formless, Nirguna Swarupa. He calls the former his lower nature and the latter his higher. To get this doubt-free knowledge, one must satisfy the following conditions. Tivra Mumukshu. One should do all the required sadhanas, Karma Yoga, Shravanam, Upasana, etc., depending upon one's level. One should put forth the effort to obtain the grace of God by taking refuge in Him.
All right, we'll come to the last question for today. Please read this for me, Venkatesh.
Apareyamitastvanyam prakrutim vidhi me param jiva bhutam mahabaho ya edam dharyate jagat.
Which chapter?
Seventh chapter.
All right. Now, I'll go by verse meaning, correct? This is the 7th chapter. And what is Krishna trying to say here?
Apareyamitastvanyam prakrutim vidhi me param.
Apara was cited in the previous verse.
Sundar, I'll ask you specifically. If nobody answers, you tell us.
Two Prakritis he's talking about. The lower Prakriti.
In the previous verse, I have told you about my 8 lower forms. And then what is he talking about in the second line? What is he talking about here?
Jiva bhutam mahaba ya edam dharyate jagat. I am holding the world. Dharyate
Jiva. Venkatesh, the one who's listening in all of us, that is the consciousness principle. He says the consciousness in all of us, O Arjuna, that is the one who's sustaining the world. See, only when, because you're conscious, the world is existent, isn't it? See the beauty of this verse. The consciousness, Mayeva Sakalam Jatam. That consciousness within me is the one who's sustaining the whole world. And this is my higher form. So Krishna is now talking about his higher form, and he's concluding from the previous one. Now I'll go word by word. Iyam.
This one. Yam.
This one.
This one. This one.
What he is in the previous verse he's talking about, what he has already described. Apara.
The lower nature.
My lower nature, you're right.
Lower nature.
Prakritim.
Nature.
Maya.
Nature. That
right.
nature.
Okay. Anyam.
Anyam.
Itaha tu.
It's different from.
Yeah, different from this. So now he's finished with my lower form. After the lower form, he's coming to the higher form, distinct from this pratak. And what is that? Jiva bhutam.
All the jivatmas, all the jivarashis.
Yeah, that consciousness within all of us, that conscious principle within us. Okay. Then he says, me param.
Higher nature.
It is my higher
My
nature.
higher nature.
Dharayet.
Holding, sustaining.
I sustain.
Yeah, my eva sakalam jatam, my sarvam idam pratishtitam. I am supporting this whole universe. So beautiful, no? Yes. So please read this and then we'll conclude today's class.
Krishna declares that his higher nature is other than matter and energy. It is beyond scientific study, observation, and physical and chemical laws. Everything that can be observed and experienced, the world, the body, and the mind, is constantly changing. Even the space is expanding. The changeless Paraprakriti, PP that Krishna calls Jiva in this verse, his higher nature is the observer or the experiencer. This verse is important because it contains the equivalent of the Mahavakya, Tattvamasi. Krishna declares that the entire inert world is sustained by this PP consciousness or life principle.
Wonderful. So we have studied one more Mahavakya. So this is the Mahavakya in the Bhagavad Gita. There are not many Mahavakyas, but you can understand, Dr. Anupama mentioned Mayeva Sakalam. So all of us are sustaining the whole verse, and it feels so great to understand that the consciousness in me is lending existence to the whole world. With that, shall we conclude today's class?
Yes, sir.
Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.